businesses is critical. You know, how do we do that? It's pretty simple to me. There's an entry cost for every single business that you engage in. You know, for example, the practice of law has an entry cost of 7 years of education. Most people don't want to pay the entry fee. Practice of medicine has an entry cost, 8 years of education. That's not including the setup cost. So it's easy for most people to say, I want to do this and work for someone else because they can forego the entry cost. The higher the interest cost, the fewer non-whites you find in a business enterprise. And we can take several examples of this. How many of you are willing to go out right this minute and start up a high-tech firm? Which means you've got to hire engineers. Gretchen says she's willing to do that. Which means you've got to have an idea. Which means you've got to have patents. All of these things cost. I was listening to a program on public radio last Thursday. They were interviewing a person, and they asked this question: how much money does it cost to protect a patent? He says, let me put it in perspective. The first patent was issued by George Washington, and it was a patent on potash. Potash, you know, to use as fertilizer. And he says to protect that patent, there's a man named Daniel Webster, who was Secretary of State. This is back in the 1700s, I believe. Who was a lawyer and hired to protect that patent. How much did it cost? $10,000 then. Well, how much would it cost now? He says about $3 to $5 million. So when we talk about entry level, the higher the returns, the greater the entry level is. But it's actually